Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Are you curious about financial literacy? Then take a look at Professor Anthony RIVIECCIO's new program on Parrot TV. It's called Financial Focus University. This is an excellent program to learn about questions related to your own finances post-COVID, if how you can manage your money, how you can work with your tax situation. And this is an excellent and informative discussion of financial literacy. With Professor Anthony RIVIECCIO, your financial problems will be solved at Parrot TV with Financial Focus University.
Producer with a little joke on April Fool's Day. I am Robert Press. As you see by my press credentials, I am a media specialist. I work for Parrot TV. I work for the Parkchester Times, the Bronx Chronicle, and Co-op City News, who I write for. And Anthony, my co-host is Anthony RIVIECCIO. But before I introduce him, I just want to show him whoops, wrong page. Our busy agenda for today. Sorry about that, Anthony. Why don't you introduce yourself? I see he's playing an April Fool's joke. You're muted, Anthony. We can't hear you. Can we put him on, Mr. Producer? There we go. Anthony, you were muted there for the beginning, so repeat what you said, please.
Are you ready?
Yes, yes.
April Fool.
So introduce yourself, who you are.
I don't know who I am.
Let's go on a serious note and talk about the Ukraine war. So, Mr. Producer, if you want to roll the film while we talk. Anthony, what is the Ukraine war now? Into a month long? It's a month now?
Yeah, some people could say it'll be 5 weeks old.
Okay, and President Biden, is he preparing for a long war there? Because he's announced he's going to give out 1 million barrels from our oil reserve a day for 6 months. Is he expecting a 6-month war at least?
I'm not sure what Joe Biden is actually expecting. I think he's making his plans on a reactionary basis as opposed to a proactive basis. So to answer your question, the war in Joe Biden's mind will only go as long as Putin wants it to.
Right. We see it's almost a stalemate now that the forces have met and aren't going further on either way, but the Ukrainians are even moving the Russians back a little because more troops are coming in from other countries to help them.
Bob, I would tend to disagree with you. I think the deciding X factor, we discussed it 2 weeks ago on the show, was something very wonderful that all of our countries are very aware of for the last 60 years. And it's called radiation, right? Right? Now that Chernobyl is active, and morning reports indicate that it's very active, right? The Russians can't get out of there fast enough.
No, they're as a matter of fact, they sent back, some people who had radiation poisoning.
They did one step better. They gave it back. To the Ukrainians because they figure they're the only ones that know where the on off buttons are. So let's give it back to them.
Well, let's get back to the oil thing that Biden's going to do. So that's experts say that's only going to reduce the price of gas about 20 or 30 cents. Correct?
Well, Bob, let me answer it this way. I'm not a driver, but you are.
Correct.
So which one would you prefer? Would you prefer the price of gasoline to go down in 30 cents in the next 6 months? Or would you prefer an elimination of the federal gas tax? Which one of the two would you prefer?
Anthony, I don't do much driving now since I live on the East Bronx now. I used to drive back and forth to the East Bronx and have to fill up every week or even sooner. Now I'm filling up every 2 or 3 weeks. So I drive very little mileage. So,
but you like to say you have all this experience. I presume you have at least 30 years of driving experience. So which one would you prefer?
Well, in my earlier days, I had a company car with an expense account, so I didn't care what the price of gas was. So
again, I'll ask you for the third time. Which one would you prefer? It
does hurt because, $20, it couldn't fill up the car I have, which is a 2020 Kia Forte 2 years ago when I got it. Now $20 only gets it maybe a little past halfway. So you're right, Anthony.
So where are you going to get that $20? Are you going to get it from the elimination of the federal gas tax, or are we going to wait 6 months for the supply of oil to supposedly get higher?
Where am I going to get the extra 20? I'm going to drive less.
So that's your suggestion to people watching the show today?
Yes.
That they should drive less, and their alternative should be to go on the subway where crime has gone up 50%.
Well, if they have to make local trips and they can walk, walking is great exercise. Okay.
That is true, except that it's well known that 70% of Bronxites that work in Manhattan.
So they can take.
So are you asking people to walk to Manhattan?
They could take the express bus to Manhattan and walk.
Oh, so the express bus. Now you should be familiar with the express bus living in Riverdale. So isn't the express bus normally double the price of
it is, and we also have Metro North.
So you're saying then that people should walk to the express bus, right? Because there's no express bus on the east side. So they should walk to the west side to get their exercise and then pay double. Even though there's no crime on the express buses, they should still walk and then pay double. That's what they
Anthony, didn't these 500 extra police officers on the subway a month ago take care of crime?
Well, Bob, it wasn't a month ago that they've been there.
I mean, what is going on?
They've only been there about 2-3 weeks, Bob. No, they're not Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
When was the last time you were on a subway, Anthony?
Last time I was on a subway, less than 2 weeks ago.
And did you get mugged or beat up or anything?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
Just more gray hair.
So you're a testimony to people should ride the subway.
I'm a testimony of, as we could see by your shirt, I'm a testimony of being a Bronx County madman. So anybody that wants to mess with me, come on down.
We bypassed our favorite subject of Bidenomics. So let's go back to Bidenomics and give us a quick, brief outline of what's happening with Bidenomics this week.
Bob, you talk about Bidenomics, you talk about April Fools. I'm going to share with you some of the week's numbers, and you tell me if we're living in I think they say it on a new Star Trek show, a virtual reality. Like, which reality are we living in? So, to answer your question, prior to today, right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've had variances of about a 1% increase, 1% decrease. And on our show, Financial Focus University, I'll go over that in more detail.
And when is that on?
That is on every Friday, 5 p.m.
That's a cheap
plug. As of today, for the week, we are actually at 0. However, today being Friday, the last day of the week, we've had some very interesting numbers that have come in from the federal government. We've had unemployment claims that have gone down, which means less people are claiming for unemployment. Wages have gone up 0.4% for the month. That translates to a wage increase annually of about 5%. And as of now, but of course the market closes at 4 p.m. Every day. But as of now, the market is finding that to be enjoyable. So the markets are responding positively to it. When you look at, again, the early parts of the week where you talk about Putin, Biden, Putin, I'm going here, oh, I forgot, I'm doing this, I did that. All of that came out to 0.
Well, I mean, you keep mentioning so, but at the end of the day traders normally sell off and the market goes down a little, doesn't it?
If you're talking about triple witching Friday, I would venture to say that actually happened on Wednesday. The quarter, which is normally what happens when it's called triple witching Friday, that element being what you just mentioned a moment ago, actually transpired on Wednesday. And I believe, I'm looking at my numbers, the numbers for that day actually went down 0.7% on that day. On that day.
All right.
So triple witching Friday, this quarter actually happened on Wednesday.
All right. I'll have to watch the Financial Focus later today at 5 p.m. on Parrot TV to learn more about what Anthony is talking about. Let's move to our state politics. It seems that Governor Kathy Hochul wants to make a deal with the Buffalo Bills to give them a $1.4 million stadium. And the state is going to kick in $600 million. The Erie County will kick in $250 million. And some downstate legislators, one, for instance, her opponent, Jumaane Williams, is objecting to this and saying, why are we giving $850 million to a billionaire? Oh, and then there's the fact that her husband is connected with the concession stands. Any opinion, Anthony?
Do I have an opinion? I don't know if I have an opinion more than I have a stomach. So when we talk about things like stadiums and things of that nature, it's very interesting based on the sport, based on the venue, how much money food can make in the overall profit of things. On the short term, it might look very low on the short-term financial paperwork. But if that short-term profit is guaranteed by contract for the next several decades, as I believe this one is, well, then, then the question just really becomes is, should that deal have been done? Or maybe they should have found another food vendor, right? I see that Mayor Adams had no problem finding a new food vendor for the Department of Education, right? This is that, right? Now everybody's eating green, right? Whether I like it or not.
Well, that's what he said.
Well, you got a new vendor, right? So I don't understand why Governor Hochul couldn't find a new vendor.
Well, that's your husband, though. You don't want to get rid of your husband.
Oh, you mean so you're suggesting she's just as corrupt as the former governor?
Well, I'm not saying that.
I'm asking you.
Her opponent, Jumaane Williams, is saying that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right. So, and it's expected that over the 30 years, that $850 million will come back with a very little profit, of only several $1 million. So,
well, and you're talking about the stadium itself. Well, number one, I haven't examined all of the details on that, so I really can't be overly specific. What I can tell you is based on the venue, the activity, the prices of the tickets, that varies. That varies. So I'm not going to say it's going to be unprofitable.
Let's move on because our agenda is big. As you see, pardon me, wrong paper again. As you see, our agenda is a lot of items on them. And she has more problems with her lieutenant governor. Every day, a new scandal seems to be coming out about Brian Benjamin, the lieutenant governor.
Oh, Bob, stop it. It's not new. It's not new. Thank God we got a producer. Thank God we even got spin doctors like you. But let's put the spin correctly. This isn't new news. This is 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old news that's getting recycled and always comes back to my original point, right? Anywhere else but New York. In New York, it is legal. Anywhere else, it's not legal. When he's a state senator and he was known as a bad landlord then, and the community and his own community, his own people were telling authorities, look, he's an ad hoc landlord and he's doing bad things. What happened? Oh, I can't see. I can't see. Now all of a sudden, because he's a lieutenant governor, he got a little muckety muck badge now. Now it's important. Can you share with me and our audience anything new that he's been charged with?
No, it's just it takes years sometimes for these things to be brought up.
Years.
Yeah, about his travel expenses, that he was double dipping.
Then I'll tell you what, Bob, we need to make my landlord the governor, because I just got a rent bill, and I believe it's what? I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Not a rent bill, a court notice. A court notice because I was 2 days late with my check.
Well, let me ask you.
So maybe we should go get my landlord to be the governor, right? No, she'll take care of it. 1, 2, 3.
Let me ask you a question, Anthony. And this I know from being a tenant. Have you ever been late before?
Have I ever been late before? I would venture to say that 1/3 of New York is probably have been late before.
Okay, because if you've given the check, even
I'm sure you've been late before. You shared with me an incident.
No.
About
I'm
you
not a woman,
late.
Anthony. I'm not a woman.
Everybody's been late
bad
before.
Joke. That was a bad joke. No, I pay on time. I pay my bills on time. Well, except we heard last week about Optimum. All right. I didn't get their bill for 2 months. They cut my service off. I made a call. I went up.
Can I use that? Can I tell my landlord that? I didn't get her bill for 2 months. That's why I didn't pay. Can I tell my landlord that?
Well, wait a minute, Anthony. Let me finish you what happened with Optimum. So I had to go up to Yonkers to pay the bill. All right. I was then charged, I saw the receipt, $10 a late fee. I called them up and said, what's this $10 late fee? You guys never sent me the bill. All right. And it was confirmed that they had a billing problem in their office by not one, 2 different people. All right. So guess what? I said, what is Optimum going to do for me? Okay. And I am now a happy customer with 6 months free, Showtime and Star.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So for the next 6 months, I'll be a happy customer.
Bob, again, it's very similar to the hoodwinking items that I'll be talking about on our show later today when we talk about why free tax preparation is not really free.
Oh, no.
We believe 6 months of what they call premium service that we can all get free on the internet will keep you happy, which obviously it did. And why would we want to keep you a happy customer for 6 months? Because you're not planning on getting rid of it for the next 50 years.
Well, we see one of your competitors has been cited by the Attorney General for quote unquote free tax service, which isn't free. It's only for the short form, if I'm not mistaken.
You said it absolutely correct. There are over 400 items that one could or could not be eligible for tax deductibility based on their on a number of factors, but basically their lifestyle. I will cover 15 minutes of this lecture all in 2 minutes. If you have any deduction of those 400 that you could be eligible for, guess what? Your taxes are not simple. Simple means no deductions. Oh, I got medical expenses. No deductions. Oh, I pay a mortgage. No deductions. Oh, I went to school. No deductions. You want it simple. You want it for free. Which, by the way, depending on the promotional items, which is another reason why TurboTax was brought up on these charges. And since we're bringing it up, let's also bring up the fact that this is, maybe you're not aware, this is the third time in 10 years that they've been brought up on the same charge. That a lot of these free, simple promotional items, number one, it doesn't get mentioned as simple. And number two, these promotional items are very detailed. What I mean by detailed is when there's a deadline, it's a hard, fast deadline. If you 1 second past that deadline, that free form now costs you $200. And I just want to add that it's not just in private industry. I have arguments with many of our governmental officials that advocate the same program
Right.
through their governmental offices.
Right.
I have a lot of elected official offices mad with me because I say to them, fine, promote it. I'll even help you promote it, but it's got to say simple.
Right. That's what it says. Yeah. We have about 8 minutes left before the break. So let's get into what happened with the Republican Justice Court, the Republican judge from upstate who declared the district lines invalid. The Republican Party is jumping for joy, saying, oh, those Democrats, they fixed it so they would keep their seats and get more. And you were transferred into the 78th. Now it looks like you're back in the 80th Assembly District. Your congressman is back to Adriano Espiat from Richie Torres.
According to the court, two things. Number one, 1/3 of the Bronx, right now as we speak, 1/3 of the Bronx, including your old neighborhood in Riverdale, doesn't know where they're at. They thought they had Richie Torres. Well, it looks like they don't have Richie anymore. How do you handle something like that? Go ask Jamal Bowman, right? I don't know. So 1/3 of the Bronx is right now in Hindu.
Wait a minute.
As I said to the media this morning, if we're in Hindu land as of today, then I declare for my assembly seat in the 80th Assembly District for 2022.
So you're running for the assembly now in the 80th Assembly District since you're back there?
As of Friday, April 1st, living in the 80th Assembly District, please vote for me for the assembly for the 80th Assembly District. If you decide not to vote for me, then please vote for the ever popular none of the above.
But what is said, though, is that the governor and the attorney general and all the Democrats say, we're going to appeal it to the appellate division. And there's one more above that, which the governor puts the judges in. So, we'll see how long you stay in the 80th Assembly District again.
Bob, sadly, from what I hear, the envelopes are being cut. I'm sure the judge will be very busy making sure that everything goes smoothly with the transactions that have to be implemented for that to happen. And I expect by Tuesday, Wednesday, I will once again be in my, I don't know what to call it now, former, prior, futuristic, right? But again, we're, 1/3 of the Bronx right now is in the same situation, right? You mentioned the 78th Assembly District. Where is that right now?
Well, according to the judge, new lines have to be into him by April 11th. And one thing is, where does this put current Senator Biaggi? She's running for Congress in a district that may not be there.
Bob, I got a better question than that. I understand that there were only 2 or 3 items left holding up our New York State budget. Mm-hmm. So now what happens to our budget? Which one comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do we districting first, hold the budget off? Do we hold the budget off and now we're caught under judge's orders that we have to do it in a certain period of time? I mean, when is the budget going to be passed? If the budget got passed like that, then of course the follow-up question is, well, then why am I paying you $125,000 a year to do it like that?
Right. Well, the assembly was sent.
So which one comes first, right? Again, only in New York. I'm running for the 80th Assembly District. Please vote for me. I understand Robert Press doesn't want to tell you, but he might be running for district leader again, although we're not sure if it's legal or not, according to the new judge. If you decide not to vote for us, please vote for none of the above.
Well, that means Kenny Augusto, the former dancing leader of the 80th Assembly District, who was put into the 78th Assembly District.
Well, Bob, we're talking as of Friday, April 1st. So as of Friday, April 1st, I believe Kenny Augusto lives in the 78th Assembly District.
Right.
So good luck to Kenny.
It's not clear if he's in the 80th anyway.
No, it's very clear. As of April 1st, right, the judge said, we go back to our prior lines till we figure this out. So come April 1st, come today, I wish Kenny the best in running a race that it will be deemed invalid. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm running for the 80th Assembly District. What am I going to do? I'll give you one example of what I'm going to do. Just like what's happening in California now. You want universal income? I'll give you $1,000 a month.
How are you going to pay for that, Anthony?
With your taxes.
No, but we all know that whatever happens in the assembly has to go through the speaker.
And I'm sure the speaker, who's very happy to help everybody get out of jail for free, will be glad to give them $1,000 a month so they can help to be recuperative.
But I mean, he sent his people home on Thursday afternoon knowing that they weren't going to have the budget. And this is the first year since Governor Cuomo came in that there isn't an on-time budget. That's the one thing you could say about Governor Cuomo. He had an on-time budget. And by the way, I'm told he might be running for governor again on an independent line. Don't forget, he created the WEP party. That's the Women's Equality Party. Now, wouldn't that be a kick in the head if Governor Cuomo, who is accused of, he's accused of, his hands or whatever, being, in the wrong place on women, and he's running on the Women's Equality Party? I mean, he's gonna run with Melissa. No, well, all right, let's get away from that because we're getting into a touchy subject here, and we're about ready. What's so touchy about it? What? What's so touchy about it? Well, you touchy-feely, Bob. That's you. You're Mr. Touchy-feely. I'm not touchy-feely. If anything, I'm holding my pen because, ladies and gentlemen, if you need income tax help, call 347-575-5045. Yes, I'm going crazy this morning. Go ahead, Bob. No, I'm just waiting. We're almost at our halfway point for our producer to bring in our commercial, our halfway commercial, and then we can get into talking about, I gave him some pictures, the borough president's inauguration. She was terrific at the inauguration. She had a beautiful dress on, a beautiful gown, I should say. She looked terrific. I got a special shot of her during her inauguration when she was being sworn in. And there's a shot of her standing at the podium giving a dynamic speech with her two people that she loved the most that are no longer with us. Former Deputy Borough President Aurelia Green and Benny Katea, who managed her campaigns. She had them on easels, pictures of them on easels, just so people would know, and she mentioned them. That was a very touching inauguration. Mr. Producer, can we go to our commercials now? Well, obviously our producer might be sleeping right now or having his cup of coffee like you did, Anthony. I hope you're going to give a summary of the speech because I know you're passionately in love with her, but after we get past the love, let me hear some of the substance of the speech. Of course, Benny, being an operative myself, God bless Benny, good man. Miss Green, of course, former assemblywoman and protege from that relationship, so God bless to both of them. But now that we've gone over all the Christian stuff, I hope you're going to give me some substance of the speech besides telling me how wonderful she was. No, you're going to have to check my blog at www. Oh, so you don't have any substance? It's on my blog about her speech. But this is a show. I got to go to your blog. You got an audience that wants to know what she said. What did she say? She said a tremendous amount of stuff, Anthony. She spoke what she wants to do. I don't have it written down. Oh, but you got pictures. What I have. But you got pictures. You got pictures of 95 angles of her in this wonderful dress that you look so wonderful in. But you don't have anything. Did you say anything on housing? Did you say anything on quality of life? Did you say anything on environmental control? Did you say anything on city taxes or city budgeting? Did you say anything about this? On the blog. What on the blog. So basically, you didn't. Or you can see it on the Bronx Chronicle site. So basically, Bob, you're coming to the show with no meat. No, well, Anthony, I was prepared to speak about meat. Look at my picture. She looks wonderful. Yes, Vanessa, I'm trying to get on the community board, but no meat. But no meat in the speech.
But it was a wonderful speech, right? It was inspiring, you said. You said
Yes.
it was an inspiring speech. Give me something to inspire me, Bob, between these 95 caseload of taxes. Yes, everyone, like Mr. Press says, he showed his credentials. I can show you mine. I got 95 things of taxes over here that have to be processed. Again, 347-575-5045. Come on, Bob, give me some substance.
Well, she spoke about what she wants to do and create new programs. She wants
like
to. Anthony, I'd have to go inside and get my notes.
Do you know that there is a publishing company that wants to make life easier for you as a writer? This publishing company is called World Inkers Printing and Publishing. We publish in all different languages, and we're looking for writers of all genres, all formats. We're looking for scholars, ghostwriters, playwrights, poets, short fiction, novelists, you name it. We're looking for anybody who is interested in writing and the craft of writing to be in touch with us. You can reach us at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. With World Inkers Printing and Publishing, you do not require a lot of money to publish with us. Contact us today at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. Become a winner with other authors at World Inkers Printing and Publishing. Give us a shot. We will surely convince you. World Inkers Monthly Magazine is a fine source for your literary interests. It's an all-source magazine with poetry, prose, and essays and articles, as well as interviews. It's all full-color art and photography from a variety of voices and artists. You will find this magazine entertaining. This is an all-purpose readership, and we are looking for new voices. This sleek, full-color edition of World Inkers Monthly Magazine will be something pleasant for your eyes as well as for your mind. And we're looking for authors for one book promotion in the magazine. If you're a business, we want to promote your business. You may submit your book reviews, your academic or non-academic articles on the humanities and the arts, as well as your literary writing and creative output to publication.worldinkers@gmail.com. World Inkers Monthly Magazine does not spare any ink. Keep inking for World Inkers Monthly Magazine.
Okay, we're back. I have my notes, Anthony.
Hey, Robert, quick question for you.
Yes.
Have we gotten our World Inkers book yet?
I haven't. Have you?
Well, I asked you to put the order in several weeks ago. I presume you did. I haven't received mine yet.
No, I didn't put it in.
Why not?
The producer wants to charge us for the books. We're not getting them free.
You're the one that writes the $1,000 non-for-profit check. That shouldn't be a problem.
No, it shouldn't, but I don't waste money, Anthony. Okay, that's why I told you. Stop wasting money. Well, let me just tell you, Mr. Producer, can we have the photo of the borough president? And I'll just tell you a little bit about what she said. She mentioned Bronx Week coming on May 5th through May 15th. She mentioned that two high school seniors, one is graduating and going to Brown University, the other is going to Yale, but she wants more high school seniors to graduate to these colleges, not just these two. She mentioned a few units that she's interested in. She wants more on the domestic violence, elder help. She's very concerned about the murder rate in the Bronx, the shootings. There's a lot of things. She wants to put youth councils, a girls empowerment council, a BP task force for people with disabilities, a Bronx Veterans Council. This is stuff that Ruben Diaz Jr. should have done but didn't. And she wants to continue some of his policies and bring back some that were discontinued. She wants a director of housing to take care of all the problems with housing. She wants to create a diverse office. There's a lot, Anthony. All right, I just can't say it in 2 seconds. Anything else?
A question. I know that for me, and again, I have to preface this by saying, of course, I'm an economist. I know for me, proper economic development is important. What I mean most notably by proper is when a quote unquote living wage or better is attached to it. And I have had my concerns with elected officials over the last 10 years that have promoted within our borough what I consider to be the lowest of that minimum wage jobs that are out there. So again, please don't misunderstand me. Anyone that's looking for a job, I'm sure will take that job, and it's good to know that those jobs are available, you know, for that sector of people. But I've also have said many times we should create and or promote higher paying jobs within our borough. Was there anything in her speech that either promoted the former or created programs for the latter?
Well, Anthony, you're putting me on the spot, so I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
No, I'm not, Bob. I'm not putting you on. Bob, I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm asking you because you were there. Did she say anything in her speech about economic development?
Anthony,
and again, the sensitivity, in my opinion, of what it's paying.
Anthony, the inauguration was streamed live on BronxNet. Did you watch it?
No, I was watching my income tax files, of which I happen to be a credentialed expert because I've got 95 files over here that I'd be glad to show you.
Well, there is many things that she spoke about.
But I'm only asking about economic development. Of course, we all have our individual.
Yes, she did speak about economic development, but that's to come. All right,
that's to come. So there was no.
Anthony, she's only been in office for 3 months. She's had a major tragedy happen as soon as she came in, Twin Parks. And she explained what's happening with the money, that it was $4.3 million in the mayor's fund. They have put up the people in hotels. They're going to stay in these hotels now. When Councilman Oswald Felice mentioned it, he said in January 25th will be the end of these. But she said now they are going to stay till May 7th, which is the extended time for the people to stay and gather themselves. All right. There's $3.5 million left, she said, to help these people find new apartments and new housing, among other things. All right. Money was spent to send bodies over to.
Bob, I'm not questioning any of that, although that's a separate conversation. Again, I was only saying, because again, I wasn't there, you were, that my own interesting, and again, we all have our interesting things as Bronxites. I'm also concerned about parks. I'm also concerned about sanitation. My own, again, personal interest is economic development. Did she say anything in regards to any of those three things?
All I can say, Anthony, is watch the rebroadcast on BronxNet. That will answer all your questions. All you have to do, Anthony,
I can see the rebroadcast right after we get off.
All you have to do is go to BronxNet TV.
You said you were there. You said you covered the event. You mentioned the 99 cases you covered before.
Anthony,
you didn't hear any substance in the.
Anthony, I got bits and pieces of it because I was taking pictures. And Mr. Producer, can we put up the pictures of of our borough president being sworn in? Mr. Producer, can we get that picture up? It is a picture. If you look at all the pictures, Anthony, that she put up or anybody else put up, it is
here we go. Here we go.
I'm the only one, and it seemed that I'm the only one who has a photo of the borough President Gibson turning her head, looking at me. It is a perfect photo, Mr. Producer. Can we get that up? And then, like I said, the other photo I gave our producer is Borough President Gibson during this.
Still turning her head, Bob.
Anthony,
Vanessa, we love you, my dear. I've seen the pictures. I've also seen the short video clips. You look wonderful. No, I have not heard your speech. I quite frankly don't think Bob heard it either. Oh, we might get a picture coming up at the moment. Here we go.
Which one is this?
I don't know. Something's happening in the internet world. So, Vanessa, I plan on listening. Oh, here we go. What?
That's the wrong picture.
What?
That's going to be.
There you go.
Now, look at this picture, Anthony. Tell
Mhm.
me, is the borough president, she basically is being sworn in. She should be looking at the judge who is swearing her in, but she turned her head for a moment and looked right at me. Okay.
Yes,
Anyone-
Bob, she loves you, Bob.
I hope so, because I know her for a long time.
Mhm.
All right. The next picture, Mr. Producer, of her speaking at the podium with the next one of the borough president. There were two of them I sent you. That's it. Again, I'm at the bottom of the stage, so you can barely see. But on the far right, you can see mementos of Aurelia Green, her mentor, and Benny Katea, who helped her during her campaigns.
Good people.
They were a very touching thing. Now, let's go to the next picture, Mr. Producer. Whichever one you want. There are two more. One more. Go to the next one. Okay, here. This is a picture of your new, or it was your new assemblyman. Who is that, Anthony?
I'm not sure.
This was taken outside Middle School 45. And I caught Jose Rivera coming out of his car. This was last year. All right. Now, let's get into some of the local races. What is happening in the 78th race?
Bob, before we go into the local races, and I want to cover as many as you want, I just want to be sure. So you have nothing to report as far as her speech?
No, Anthony, I put it up on my blog and in my articles for the Bronx Chronicle, the Parkchester Times, and the Co-op City News.
But nothing to report here.
No, I was not prepared to report on the speech here. Okay?
Okay.
What can I tell you, Anthony? You've embarrassed me.
I don't understand why you could have 3 pictures, but nothing to report.
No, because we had a lot of topics to talk about, and I wanted to talk about the races that could be in jeopardy, the 4 races here in the Bronx.
All right, I'm listening.
Races. Okay. Plus, we want to go into our WrestleMania picks at the end of the show, so that's why I didn't bring anything about the borough president's speech. It was a wonderful speech. It was a powerful speech, and there you go, Anthony.
It was powerful? You don't get to tell me what it was about.
There you go, Anthony. Powerful. I'm sure she's going to like you like Borough President Diaz did.
Vanessa Gibson and I have known each other, I believe now, and Vanessa, I could be wrong, I believe about 16, 17 years. I wouldn't say 20 because I might be lying. We've always had a very good relationship. Yes, we've disagreed at times, but I would say that disagreement isn't from a personal or even professional standpoint. It's more of a type of shirt that you're wearing standpoint. I'm going to be with Bronx County no matter how corrupt they are. Right, Bob? That's what that shirt says, right? So that's where her and I have had our mutual, and I emphasize the word mutual.
Anthony, didn't you say she won her race without the Bronx Democratic Party? She won the borough
president. She did not have county's endorsement at the time that she ran.
She did?
No, she did not.
No, that's correct. And one can see by the inauguration, without Carl Hasty being there, that she is independent of the Bronx Democratic Party.
As I said, the day she won.
She did bring Jamal Bailey on stage to say something, and Assemblyman Dinowitz, who came after Chuck Schumer. And Chuck Schumer just went like this. He came late, Chuck Schumer. Normally, he's the first person at these inaugurations. So he came next to last, and he brought his speech up, and he went like this. I might as well just throw my speech away, and let's hurry up and say congratulations to our new borough president. Then Jeffrey Dinowitz came up and said, how do I file an act like that? So he said, congratulations, Vanessa. And then we got into the speech. The swearing in, and then the speech. It was a good, very good inauguration. Could it have been better? Yes, it could have, Anthony, as you say. Okay? But it was a very nice inauguration. And I'm sure the State of the Borough speech will be even better than her predecessor. Okay? Anything more you want from me?
No, I find it. But you're the reporter. not me. So I can only go by information that you report, right? So you haven't reported anything in regards to her speech. So therefore, there's no speech.
Yeah, forget it.
I'll ask again. Maybe I'm not saying it in your native tongue. Was there any substance in
Anthony?
You're the one that said it was a wonderful speech. You're the one that said it was a powerful speech. Enlighten me, Bob. How powerful was it? Give me something that was powerful. The only thing I got right here that's powerful and it's declining by the minute is this coffee cup. Give me something powerful.
I'm clicking pictures as she's speaking, so I can't do two things at once like that.
So then you admit you're not a top A reporter.
No, I'll probably say I'm a B reporter. Correct. No, I'm not someone from New York One or any of the networks. No, but I like being.
Well, I hope none of your editorial bosses are watching this show because
they're very happy with
giving yourself a
They're
downgrade
very happy
salary.
with me, Anthony. Okay, they're very happy with me, and this is the Anthony RIVIECCIO April Fool's joke on Bob Press. Okay, right, Anthony? All right, let's get into the local races. The 78th, Anthony. What about it? What is Jose Rivera's chances of being reelected? Good, very good, or not good?
Whoa. I quite frankly think it's 50-50. There are three what I call credible candidates. Of different generations, which I think is somewhat fascinating, also from different cultures. So the 78th Assembly District, which I guess has always been considered the central part of the Bronx, the Fordham Road part of the Bronx, which has gone through many changes in the last 30 years, 40 years. This race is now legitimately, for the first time, showing that generational switch. More younger people have moved into Fordham. I would say more of the progressive nature. Shaniqua Charles is a very powerful advocate in the southern part of the district. Emmanuel Martinez is the current community board chair of community.
Also the state committee man.
And as well as state committeeman, and of course, Mr. Rivera has been the assemblyman there now for over 20 years. So I really think it's more than just a race. You know, I think it's a generational race. I believe, if I can get away with using this term, sort of a heritage type race. So yeah, I do believe it's really 50-50, or because there's three people, 33 and a half, 33 and a half, 33 and a half.
Do you think that, like in the council race where Eric Dinowitz won, that one candidate will say that another candidate, meaning Jose Rivera, lives in a gated community, which he does in Fordham Hill? Will that become an issue in the campaign, that the assemblyman lives in Fordham Hill, which is a gated community, and he's out of touch with the rest of the district?
I don't think well, you know, that's like two questions in one now. Let me save the first half of that for last. As far as him being, quote, out of touch of the district, I think nobody would say that. And anybody that said that, I think people will probably do what I'm doing now, which is smiling and trying not to burst out in hysterics. Now, Fordham Hill being considered a gated community, that's a very interesting question. Fordham Hill has not been considered a gated community for the last 25 years. But again, now 25 years later, we have a new generation. So our younger generation,
you know, there were riots on Fordham Hill, on Fordham Road. Remember the riots on Fordham Road?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so, I mean, now that gated community becomes important, that you're set aside from the rest of the district.
I don't think Fordham Hill has ever been looked at that way or considered that way.
Because Riverdale has. The area of Fieldston has been considered a gated community when it's not. They just close the streets one day a year. You know, you can travel through Fieldston, but you can't travel through Fordham Hill.
I beg to differ with you.
Well, when was the last time you were at Fordham
You
Hill?
can't travel through Fordham Hill, you're right, but you also can't travel through Fields.
Sure you can.
No,
I did it almost every day.
Look, you said and you were from there.
No, I lived
And you were
across
from
the
Riverdale.
highway.
Let me go through there and I'll be arrested in 3 minutes. How do I know that? Because I've been there, done that.
Wow. Like I said, I know if I was running, I would consider Assemblyman Rivera out of touch with the district, living in a gated community. Unfortunately, Jose, that's the way. If I was running against you, I would do it. All right, I wish Jose.
So you mean to tell me that if you and I, that if we lived on the same block, and you own a house, and I own a house, but I don't have a backyard, and you do, that makes you out of touch?
No, Anthony.
Because your backyard is gated.
No,
so I can't see what you're doing in the backyard.
Anthony,
so that makes you out of touch.
You're talking about a neighborhood.
Nobody can see
Anthony,
your backyard. Does that put you out of touch?
Anthony, you're not talking about one house with one family. You're talking about a community with hundreds of families and many buildings that are gated in.
How many families are in Fordham Hill?
What are there, about 8 or 9 buildings?
You tell me. You brought it up.
They're 10 or 12 stories?
You tell me.
Okay, so I don't have.
First of all, 8 or 9 buildings, I would venture to say you better go recheck it.
Well, even if it's only 6 or 7, there's still 12-story buildings. All right,
Bob, I strongly recommend you do your homework on that.
And each building can hold 200 or 300 people. So you're talking about 1,000 people living in a gated community. Okay, all right, and
Bob, the Fordham Hill, generally speaking, has 3 buildings.
3.
It has 8 floors. So how many families is that, Bob?
Well, let's move on.
How many families is that, Bob?
Let's move on to the 81st Assembly District, Tony, because we're running out of time here. Does Jeffrey Dinowitz have a real chance of losing?
I think Jeffrey Dinowitz has a fight. Do I think he has a real chance of losing? Everybody these days has a chance of losing, but I do think it's Jeffrey's to lose.
Right.
And it's Jeffrey's to lose under a Riverdale that is shrinking, where you have a more diverse population coming in. It is also somewhat the beginning of a generational shift as well. You know, Jessica Woodward, who's one of the candidates there, is not an old bird by any stretch.
No, but let me just correct you, Anthony. Riverdale is not shrinking. It's growing. More buildings are being built and more people are coming in of diverse, ethnicity. All right. And what's happening is Riverdale.
I think the mayor of Yonkers, who reported yesterday, is saying, quote, "I don't want this building, which is the shelter, 1 block away from the Yonkers line because we don't want these desirables here. I wouldn't consider expanding unless that's your definition of economic development."
No, Anthony. Buildings are going up all over in the community there. All right. That's not in Riverdale anyway. That's down the hill. That's not Riverdale. That's considered Kingsbridge.
Well, you said the 81st Assembly District, Bob. Right. So you discriminating? I thought down the hill was part of the 81st Assembly District.
Remember St. Anne's Church?
Bob, I'm going to ask you again. Is down the hill part of the 81st Assembly District?
Yes. Is St. Anne's Church?
Well, what's the difference?
Is St. Anne's Church part
I'll tell you the difference. You just said it yourself. Down the hill, now they don't make any money, right? Now they don't make that Fieldston money, right? This is why even with Marble Hill wrapped into the 81st Assembly District, this is why even with that wrapped into the district, every quote-unquote person that lives in the 81st Assembly District makes minimum 2 times more than the average Bronxite.
Anthony, I'm going to tell you something that Mr. Yahya Obeid said at the Morris Park meeting Wednesday night. He said that crime is a major issue in the community. All right. He does not feel safe in the community. And many of his friends and relatives or fellow North Yemenese people do not feel safe in the community. And he said that in 2 years, if things don't change, he's moving. That was his words out of his mouth. In 2 years, if the neighborhood doesn't get better, he's moving. Is that our friend Kevin Diola?
Yeah.
All right. Be safe, Kevin. Don't run into, stay in the bike lane and don't make any cars want to run into you. So just watch it. Make sure you have your headlight on at night and, stay off the sidewalk too, Kevin.
Kevin, do me a favor. Meet me on Marshall Loop Parkway, not just for brunch, but maybe you can give me a summary of the borough president's speech.
I don't know if he was there or not. So let me ask you, though, but Jeffrey has 2 opponents right now. Doesn't that work to his advantage?
Jeffries?
Yeah, Jeffrey Dinowitz, yeah. You have George Diaz on one side, and you have Jessica Wolford on the other side. There is only so much anti-Jeffrey Dinowitz vote as we see.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, will George be taking away votes from Jessica that'll keep him in office?
I would say that, as with all present and future elections, you will see, including in your district, we will find, if it's still your district, according to the court, we don't know, but we will find out soon who the contenders and pretenders are.
Anthony, what advice would you give to George Diaz now that Jessica Wolford is in there and she has the backing of DSA and a lot of other, so she's the heavyweight in that race against Jeffrey. Would you advise George Diaz not to run, to drop out and help her if he wants to get rid of Jeffrey? Because otherwise he'll just be splitting the vote, taking away votes from her.
I would only suggest 2 things. Number one, of course, I don't give private advice on the air for free. So, George, feel free to give me a call, schedule an appointment. Although the little piece of free advice I will give you, I'm sure you could have found at the borough president's inauguration, where I'm sure prayers were in order.
Okay, well, so in essence, he's telling you, George, you go to church and pray that you have a decent showing or just drop out. Okay.
I didn't say that, you did.
Well, the 82nd Assembly District should be a fun race, too, now that we are down to only 3 contenders. Assemblyman Michael Benedetto is going to face Mr. John Soto, who is also backed by the DSA. It appears that the DSA is going after the 2 senior members of the Assembly here from the Bronx, and Mr. Dinowitz, Assemblyman Dinowitz and Assemblyman Benedetto. And Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez has endorsed him. He is part of the PAC, or I should say she hasn't endorsed him, her PAC has endorsed him, and she is expected to endorse him. And also you have Al Quattlebaum in the race from Co-op City. Now, will Al take away votes from the Assemblyman, because the Assemblyman was strong in Co-op City, enough that Mr. Soto can sneak in?
It's another type of generational race, but with 1 minute left to go on our show, I think I'd rather ask you what I consider to be the inside baseball question of the day. What gave Marjorie Velasquez the right or the authority to suggest that Matt Cruz should run for that position, in which he announced that he was running for assembly, to now drop out? What gave Marjorie that opinion that she could make that type of decision?
That's a good question, Anthony. So why don't you ask her that?
Well, I'm asking you that.
Well, since we have a very short time left, let's get to our WrestleMania picks, okay?
another
why I didn't want to dwell on this.
Left unanswered. Thank you, Bob.
This is why I didn't want to dwell on the borough president's speech, okay? Because now, is Becky Lynch going to win or lose?
Who's she
I
fighting?
think she wins.
Who's she fighting?
What's her name? The ESP with the ponytail that she tried to cut off.
Who's that?
What's her name?